So you're training Thibaut again.
No, it's the other way around now.
Other way around.
Thibaut's training me.
Sander.
Yeah.
Is that Thibaut?
Yeah, that's what David told us to do.
I say you just do as you're told. Okay. So can you ask Sander what he wants to learn from this experience?
Yeah. So I have the advantage of knowing the case a little bit because I was the previous endoscopist. There is a lesion in recurrence, and I more or less the same. I want to be nailing the planning in a lesion in a scar. Knowing what to isolate, knowing where to start, knowing what to do, when, where to end, and yeah, also snare placement and that occasion to really nail the final piece, the most difficult piece.
Okay.
So that's an important thing. I will let you. I will guide you through it, and it's we can see how it goes. And so I think it will be the other way around now. So it will be the same thing. So if we are in doubt about something, we should stop and pause it a minute, I think, and think about it. Maybe ask others if we're not sure before we progress.
Yeah.
And I think.
Okay. Thibaut, what's going to be your? So that's fine. So we'll do what we call an educational contract. That's you and me. All right. So what's going to be your biggest challenge here, do you think?
For me, to verbalize and to communicate on a good level.
With the forceps, whether you, maybe that is.
If you're not sure, we can
But actually, it's for a cold snaring. It looks pretty good. I don't know, but that's my opinion. Maybe we can ask the panel what they. There is maybe something here that at 12 o'clock, but.
We think the cold snare looks great.
Yeah, it's quite good actually for
So the question is, what are you going to do about that remaining bit there? And do you think it's resectable with snare or not?
The remaining bit of the rest of the polyp, this part, or the small residual, Roland?
Well, I'm not convinced there is small residual. The shape of the polyp, the wound at 6 o'clock of the excised margin there, it's now it was well beyond the
actual
margins of the polyp. So I'm not really concerned. So I'd be interested to know what David and John think, but I think you've got that left-hand edge of the polyp well. I don't think you have to worry about recurrence or incomplete resection around the edges. You just need to decide how you're going to remove this final section here and whether it will, whether you can take it with a snare or not.
Well, I think I could try to inject, see what happens, but really carefully not to over-inject and cause a canyon, and see if I can grab the piece.
Which is absolutely fine. I mean, that's one way of doing it. Can be a bit tough for people, that form of feedback. Our preferred form of feedback, though, is for you to ask Sander how it went. And I think particularly with reference to this, I would ask the question to Sander, how did it go? And particularly, what moments didn't quite go as planned or what was difficult? That would be the question I'd ask him. So
I would start with that question and
repeat that question now, but shall we, Sander, can you answer that question? So how did it go for you? And in particular, did some things not happen according to plan or go as well as you'd hoped?
So I am quite extremely disappointed about how that went, because I'm really, really bummed out about that cold snare. It was a stupid mistake, and it shouldn't happen.
Okay, well, that's really funny.
That was going through my head the whole time.
Okay, so do you see, Thibaut, like you ask him that question and you get that response, and that just opens the door to the key part of the conversation you have. Do you understand what I'm saying there? Okay.
Indeed. So what gives you that feeling? Well, can you explain?
Yeah, no, you explore that and find out what Sander thought about that, and why he thought it happened and how he might prevent that happening again. So you have that conversation with him.
Yeah, so you talked about, so you don't have a very well feeling about how it went. So can you talk about, I heard you saying, I'm really bummed out about the cold snaring.
Yeah.
So can you just talk us through in your head, so in your experience, what happened there, or how did it start? At which point did that start for you, and how did,
I think in hindsight, it started at the beginning. I did not have a stable enough position. I had a position which was...
Sorry, can I just stop you there, Sander? What would be helpful, is if you just let the video run from the moment that you started closing the snare while you're talking. So you remember, this is something that David does. He sort of just lets the video run, and you can describe what was happening as you go and why you think it cold snared. Okay, so just let it run. Just let it run.
So there, snare didn't open completely, so I had to assess or ask the nurse to open completely. Then it started rotating on me, the scope, so didn't have super amount of downward pressure to anchor the snare into the lesion. So, however, now it looks... Well, it looks now, kind of looks okay, but I think I should have had a lot more suction, a lot more downward tip pressure. And at the moment of closure, I thought I started slipping back a bit. And there you see that there is a fold arising in the snare closure, and that was that was the kicker. So I don't have a deep enough tissue. The resection won't be deep enough, even I think when we did it on snare. And then I started to have more, because I was talking clearly. So I had more difficulty with the position, started slowly falling back, couldn't catch the scope or the falling back. And then at some point it just gave up and cut through.
Okay, so Thibaut, I'm doing your job here for you, but this is how you need to be doing it. Okay, so all right, so it then just cut through. So what the question you just asked is why did it just cut through then?
I had too little tissue in the snare.
So that's one reason. What was the other reason?
Due to the falling back, I think there was too much traction on the now I'm really pulling on the lesion. I'm really pulling on it, actually.
Yes. So you're sort of pulling on it to help you maintain the position. So there's quite a lot of traction force on that, isn't there, Sander?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two things. One, obviously, it was a bit of an unstable position and you were struggling to maintain it. The second thing was you didn't have enough tissue, although it really looked, there was quite a bulge in the snare, wasn't there? I mean,
right, disclosure, yeah.
I don't know how you could have got more. The other thing that happened is you had a conversation about the Buscopan at that point, didn't you, with the anaesthetist?
Yeah.
And I mean, there is a bit of movement there, but I don't think the movement was really hampering what you were doing. And so the third reason was you were hanging there with the snare fairly tight, with some traction on it, and not very deep cut. The three reasons really. So recognizing when someone has little insight into what they're doing that could be done better is really, really important. So I'm very pleased, actually, Thibaut, that we've finished on this note, all right, because it's really given us an opportunity to explore feedback, building on the